Hey Gaming Trend, it's Andrew Valkauskas from Haven Publishing. We're at Gen Con and Mike has stopped by to check out everything Viking. So if you take a look here, we start with collaborative storytelling games. Over here we have a trick-taking game like a Viking euchre. We've got mythology books, beautifully illustrated. The covers and even the interiors, to give you an idea, every single character. So we pay a lot of, we spend a lot of time and energy on the aesthetics of the game. This is a creatures book, but from fairy tale and myth. So we reimagine all the creatures, the classic creatures, with brand new fairy tales. And then on this table over here, we have all of our RPGs. So this is called Fate of the Norns Ragnarok. It actually takes place during the apocalypse, and the system uses runes instead of dice. So we've got a core rule book, and then we have several expansions and adventures, and even novels that have been set in this universe. We've run 11 successful Kickstarters that kind of helped fund this, and we're about to launch our 12th.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, explain a little bit about the rune mechanic.
Absolutely. What I'll do is I'll grab a pre-generated character. It's probably the easiest way to show you. And let's prop this up over here. Hopefully there's not too much glare for your camera here. So this is what a typical character sheet looks like. Oh, the glare's bad. This is laminated. Apologies to your viewers. So there's two main attributes in the game. Essence and Destiny. Essence represents everything you are. Skills, abilities, memories, powers, health, the works. Mechanically, that's the number of runes this character is going to have in their rune bag. Destiny is the effect that you can cause on the world around you. Mechanically, that's the number of runes you'll draw at random from your bag whenever you want to do a skill check, start a round of combat, or just interact with the world in a meaningful way. Now, the colors on the runes are your traits. Red runes are physical, blue runes are mental, green runes are spiritual. So the more that you have of a certain trait, obviously the better you're going to be at those types of skills and activities. Now, when you draw your two runes, they represent two actions. We don't muddy the waters with partial actions, full round actions, bonus actions, reaction actions. They're just actions. If you were a higher level, let's say you drew 3 runes because your destiny was 3, you'd have 3 actions. And we don't put any limitations. If you want to cast 3 spells, attack 3 times, go for it. There are no dice because Vikings don't ask for permission to hit, and we designed an action reaction paradigm in this case. So the action reaction paradigm drives the narrative forward without having anyone spinning their wheels in the mud. We want an RPG experience to feel like a movie rather than like, you wouldn't watch a movie where someone failed their lockpicking and they'd be like, okay, let me roll again. I failed again. That wouldn't make for a very entertaining movie, right? So one thing that these actions, the action economy and the runes have allowed us to do is to create an RPG for the very first time that has multiple levels of complexity or crunch. How many times do you have a group of friends that are sitting around that disagree on which RPG you should play? Someone will say, like, I want to play Fate because I want to be able to tell stories and have, a crunch light experience. And then you have someone on the other side of the table that says, no, I love Shadowrun. There's no mechanics in there that I can sink my teeth into. And then so the other guys go, well, I don't want to play Shadowrun. There are way too many rules, too many numbers. So you have a group of friends that just like always arguing. Because you're not friends because you like the same level of crunch, right? So we wanted to fix this. So with 3 levels of crunch, everyone at the table can play at whatever level they want, whenever they want. So it can seamlessly move up and down, and the system ties it all together. So probably an example would be the easiest way to show you how it works.
Yeah.
All right. So let's pick a really cheesy example, probably the biggest trope in RPGs. So you're sitting in a tavern. Stop me if you've heard this one before. And a strange guy walks up to your table, but you recognize him as an assassin sent to kill you. What do? So let's start with Clunch 0. This is pure narrative. Simply describe what you want to do, and for every verb you use, you're going to have to use one of your actions. So you could say, I flip the table, and if the assassin doesn't spend one of their own runes to get out of the way, they're going to get the impeded condition. Then you could say, I draw my swords, and then I plunge them in his chest. So flip, draw, plunge. And now you're comparing your damage factor to his protection factor. If there's any damage left over, he has the option, if he has an unused action, to use one of their actions to add parry to protection factor to further reduce the damage. Now, why would you burn one of your actions to reduce damage? Because damage matters. And we're going to get to that in a second, right? Let's go through all 3 levels. The second level of crunch is very easy. When when you create your character, you're going to bind your runes from your essence bag to various powers during character creation. So if I end up playing this one, it's Runaway Laughing, which is a move and a heal. This one is Lunging Attack, which is a weak move followed by an attack. This one is Bicker, where you can get two people on the battlefield to turn on each other. And then this rune is a Riposte, which is a weak defend, and then you get to do a free counter attack. All right? With me so far?
Yeah.
Let's go up one more level of crunch.
All right.
You can combine runes together to change the way powers work. So, take a look at these. You're probably going to have to zoom in to get the various colored words right next to the power.
Yeah.
So, Bicker has range, amplify, and multi. It means if I play the rune for Bicker and I add a red rune to that, I will be able to do it at range. If I add a green rune to this, multi means I can target even more combatants and pull them into the Bicker. And then every single one of these powers has different types of powers. So if I say I play Lunging Attack and I add a blue rune, I can multiple people, so make it in a whirlwind attack. If I play a green rune, I will trigger my weapon's meta effect. In this case, it's Gore, because she's using, or he's using, 2 Assassin's Knives. So Gore would cause the opponent to start taking damage over time because of nicked an artery or something. So by combining runes, you can actually change the way any of this works. And this allows players that love, crunch and combos to like draw the runes and go, okay, what's my optimal play? And it allows the other extreme where players are like, I just want to tell a story, to use their action economy to tell the story, and they're all sharing the same experience.
24 runes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm big on narrative for sure, and this really leans heavily into narrative, and I really like that.
Almost all of our books.
Skill checks are the same way.
Yeah.
They coax out the narrative. So rather than say I do a perception check and you roll, in our system you cannot resolve a perception check without describing first how you were doing it. The reason is there are 3 traits: physical, mental, and spiritual, right? So if I say, okay, I know there's a key in this room, I'm going to scan to look to see where this key, like, is there anything out of place? That would make it a mental check. So when you're weirding your runes, weird means in Old Norse to reveal your destiny, so you draw equal to your destiny runes out. You're looking for blue runes, mental runes, to succeed in this perception check. But if I walk into that same room and I say, I know there's a key here, and I start ransacking it, I cut the mattress, I pound on the walls looking for secret holes, I check the drawers, that would make it a physical perception check. So we want the system to coax out the narrative, not just default to mechanics.
Right.
So everything has to uplift, again, the scene, the action, the narrative moving forward. And these 3 levels of crunch that we just talked about are seamless. You can do all 3 levels in a single combat round, right? You can say, I flip the table, then I do Runaway Laughing, and then I do a Lunging Attack with a multi, right? If you had a Destiny of 4 and had 4 runes, you'd be able to pull that off. So it's really, really freeform, and it allows people to just play the way they want, when they want. And it's great for the GM, because how many times do you have, let's say, a lich surrounded by these little minions, let's say goblins, and an RPG is going to force you to look at every single monster at the same level of minutia. Do I really care about all the little stats on the goblins? They're going to die in 1 hit. The lich is what I care about. But the RPG is going to force me to look at the huge stat blocks for both. When really, with cinematic actions, I can say the goblin runs up to you and chews on your ankles. That frees me up to start thinking about what's the best move for the lich. Oh, if I do this meta tag with this power, maybe this meta tag with this power, that's going to put the fear of God into my players. So the system will allow a GM to focus on the stuff that's important, and the stuff that's not is actually can run on autopilot.
Yeah, that actually brings me to my my next question. Like, what from a GM standpoint, like what this is more from a character standpoint. I guess there's some GM stuff in there too.
The GM uses the same thing.
The GM uses the same thing,
but they don't care about the symbols because it's too detailed. All of the powers for the monsters are bound to the colors, the traits, red, blue, or green.
Got it. And what about classes? Are there any classes?
Yes. So the classes, I can show you how character creation works.
Like this,
So let's say you were creating.
is kind of important.
So this is a Volva. This is a seer, someone who can see into the future and look beyond the veil and see things that are normally hidden. So every character will have 3 specializations that you have to choose one of them at the beginning, and then you're going to bind some abilities to yourself. And then what happens is you have this board of active powers and passive powers. So every single archetype
you can maintain.
has
So what happens is
3
at the end of the
boards.
round, you scoop
And
all
the
your
reason we
resources,
use boards is we learned a lesson when we played 3rd Ed D&D where you had the feat system,
this is
and a
my
brand new
stance,
player
right?
can come in and
This
they
is my
don't know the
battle
game,
stance,
they'll
and I'm
choose a
gonna-
horrible combination of feats,
maybe I get a
and the character
defensive
concept
bonus,
doesn't work.
and that's gonna
So what
give
we
me a
did was
parry
created
bonus, you know, to
themes
amplify it.
depending on where you
Super
go.
offensive.
So if you have an essence of
can leave
4,
those out,
the way it
so
would
when you
work
put
is
everything else in,
you start in the middle of the board and you can unlock anything in the 4 cardinal directions. So I could say that this rune is now going to be the power not my time. Then this one is going to be Scythe Frenzy. So this is how you would do the association of rune to ability.
Okay.
And this allows, that's the other benefit is, how many times have you said, I want to play a paladin? Then you show up to like session 0 where everyone's making their characters and someone beat you to it. And you're like, well, I'm not going to make a paladin as well. We didn't want that to happen. If someone says, I want to play Berserker, someone else comes out, I'm making a Berserker as well, we'll see whose is better. Because you can go in different directions in terms of your themes, different specializations, different thematic directions on 3 possible boards. And you're going to bind your runes to all 3. And that's another example of beautiful artwork within the book. So that's how character creation works. And monsters are built in a very similar fashion. Because veteran players, when you've got a veteran player that's been playing for a year or 2, once you've kind of faced the creature a couple times, you've memorized the stat block. So the romance, the mystery is gone. It just feels like a transactional encounter. We don't want that magic to go away. So what happens is creatures have their own pool of active powers, passive powers, and skills. And when a GM wants to throw a creature at a player, remember, they don't care about the symbol. They're going to say, all right, spiritual runes are going to do Beck-and-Ignis. Dark juxtaposition is going to be done on mental runes, and let's say transfer soul, show transfer will be on physical runes. So in a matter of 30 seconds, the GM can customize a monster that even veteran player is going to be sitting on the edge of their seat going, I know what the monster can generally do, but I don't know exactly what this monster can do. And that keeps things fresh even for veteran players.
That's very cool.
Now we didn't talk about damage. That's one of the other really interesting innovations that the runes allowed us to do. So typically, when you've got an RPG that's based on the old, Aronson Gygax hit point model, right? It's you have 50 hit points, monster hits you 15, you do some math. I have to ask you, did anything in the game change? Nothing, right? So it's like, why the heck are we doing this math? So in our paradigm, we said, let's bring the math to almost 0, and let's take the effect and ratchet it up to 100. So when you take damage in this game, you're going to reach into your rune bag, pull out a rune at random, and it goes down this damage track. A rune that has left your bag is a rune you can no longer draw, meaning you have lost immediately not only one of your powers, but possibly, if this was my only physical rune, all my physical meta attacks. So that hit hurt. I felt that. That was visceral. And the more damage I take, I'm going to feel that visceral descent to death. I'm not going to be like 1 hit point and I've got all my abilities. Someone just throw me a heal before I hit 0. So at this point, it becomes a lot less about, did the dice let me do it, and let me do some math for the sake of doing math. It becomes a lot more about interesting decisions that have really meaningful consequences. And that's kind of the paradigm of the runic system.
Nice. So, do you have like modules or campaigns for the
So every single one of these big books that you see, so either Core Rule Book, Denizens of the North, or Lords of the Ash, have a bunch of adventures at the back of them. But then we also have some standalone adventures. So So we're down to one Factor's Treasure, and then we've got some that are based on novels. So we had a couple of authors that came and played in our universe who really enjoyed themselves. They said, can we write some novels based on your Fate of Norns universe? And we said, what do you think about that? Yes, please. Absolutely. So the latest wave of novels, we've got 4 in the works right now. And one of our authors is actually Ed Greenwood, which is the creator of Forgotten Tales. So he worked on Creatures from Fairy Tale and Myth. That's how it started. And then we're continuing the relationship with, I think we'll be having at least 1 new product by him every year. So
Nice.
It's going to be really nice.
Now, you mentioned you have a Kickstarter coming up. What's that about?
Yes, so the 12th Kickstarter, let me see if anyone's wearing the t-shirt. No one's wearing the t-shirt. All right, so this is a scoop. We haven't announced this on social media yet. We got an exclusive here. Woo! So So it's called The Children of Eru. It is a Celtic RPG, standalone RPG, but compatible with the Ragnarok RPG.
Oh, interesting.
So you can plunge it into your existing RPG, or you can just play it by itself. And he obviously uses runes because that innovation we want to continue, pushing it. So we've learned a lot of things along the way as we've been playing with not dozens of people, but hundreds and thousands of fans. So we've kind of evolved the mechanics a little bit. So you can think of this as a 0.5 increment or even a whole step increment in the version of the runic game system.
Now, is it the same, basically the same implementation, or are there tweaks that are more? Well, I guess what just struck me is like the mechanics feel culturally appropriate, right? And Celts aren't terribly far away from Vikings, but there are some they have some of their own cultural. Right? Yes, exactly.
So we can't keep producing different types of props, right, for every culture. So one of the things that we're lucky with is the Vikings went everywhere.
Yeah, this is true.
They went down the Volga trade route to like the Byzantine Empire, like in Iran, northern Iran on the Black Sea. They went down through Kiev to Constantinople and became the Varangian Guard. They went to the New World. They went down to the Caliphate in Spain. So we can rationalize that the runes could be used for a wide variety of mythologies and cultures. But if we do end up reskinning things, or even third-party companies decide, hey, you know what, we want to create a more appropriate prop for, Children of Eru that can be sold alongside, like people that sell dice, then we would totally be open to that. Say, the only thing that's important is you need 24 tiles, and they have to be split into 3 colors.
Gotcha. Right.
So as long as you put whatever symbols you want on there. You want a cyberpunk thing, pop a bunch of keys off a keyboard, those are your runes, and just color code them in 3 colors, and you can have a cyberpunk setting that uses the runic system.
Or something like, say you want to introduce like Egyptians, you could do hieroglyphics, and it's such a cool idea to make it cultural based, as opposed to like just sort of like this generic dice thing, right? It's pretty fascinating.
Everything here we've really themed to the sagas and the Eddas, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of sneaky. While you play our game, you're actually going to be learning like real history, real mythology. And the one thing that kind of sets this RPG also apart is death. So the way it works is we don't go to high fantasy tropes of raised dead, resurrection, and reincarnation, simply because those did not exist in the myths and the sagas. But what did the Vikings have?
They have the Valkyrie.
And the Valhalla, right?
Yes.
So Valhalla and the Valkyries. So what happens is, it's Ragnarok, it's dangerous. Eventually your character's going to die.
Right.
And we have afterlife mechanics. So the way this works is this. If you died in battle, you get to reach into your bag, pull out 1 rune. You're off to the races then. Then, if the party has enough time to stop and give you a proper funeral pyre and leave their most valued possession on your funeral pyre, you get to draw a 2nd rune. Then what's going to happen is, you as the player are going to sit quietly as everyone else at the table is going to raise a glass, drinking horn, and recount your character's epic deeds. I remember when Bjorn jumped off the mead hall's roof onto the polar bear's back and ran it through the army of Draugr. That gave time for the orphans to run out of the burning village. That was epic. So every single thing that your character did that was epic and memorable, you get to draw another rune. Then, once you're done your afterlife rune chain, the GM's going to reach into their own rune bag, pull out 1 rune. If it matches anything here, you're the songs of the Valkyries as they descend out of the heavens, pick up your character, bring them up to the heavens. Now you as a player level up. So it's character level and there's player level. 2 different concepts. Now, as you level up as a player, I'm going to grab the core rulebook to show you something. Something opens up to you that other players don't have. So over here is a typical character sheet.
Right.
But now we're going to look at this side over here. This is your Hall of Heroes, your bloodline of champions. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out one of these with every character that makes it up into Valhalla. And for each one of these that you have filled out, every character you ever make in the future has new unlocked options available to them that are party friendly, that everyone wants you to get. And by the time you hit level 5, Odin comes to see you in Valhalla and says, my Einherjar, I have a mission for you back in the land of the living. And you take one of your old champions, skin them with the Einherjar template, and they're back in the game.
Wow, that is awesome.
Aaron.
That is super cool.
What?
Wow. So when did you say the new Kickstarter is going to be going live?
Probably September.
So probably September?
Yeah. So we've got a code of conduct here that we don't launch a Kickstarter until we finish delivering the last Kickstarter.
That's a pretty good. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, we really don't want to start multiple Kickstarters, and we always want to over-deliver. So right now we've got. So Creatures from Fairy Tale and Myth was our last Kickstarter, and this book was Kickstarted in 3 formats. So the storybook version, which is this one, then we have 2 other versions where we swap out the story portion but leave the lore portions, and the stories are swapped out for stat blocks. So the second version of this book is a bestiary for the Ragnarok system, and the third version is a bestiary for the 5e D&D system.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
like a 3-in-1 Kickstarter, and the other 2 formats are like going into press soon. So it took longer than expected, but we want to make sure they're solid products before we actually release them.
So you're working on a 5e D&D. Have you given much thought to, I guess, enabling some of these other existing rules in some way to cooperate with 5e at all?
So that's what we've been kind of looking at, and it has delayed the 5e release.
Gotcha.
We went down a rabbit hole at first, like, okay, let's skin it for 5e. And then we said this feels very unsatisfying given the innovations that the runes give us.
Right.
So how do we bring these innovations to the D20 system? So then we started innovating the D20 system, and then as we're like, okay, are we ready for press? Someone says, well, if this goes well, people are going to ask for PC options with this, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, now we need to look at, before we go to press, we need to make sure that whatever we've come up with the monsters actually works for player archetypes if we were to port the archetypes into 5e.
Right.
And so that's where we're at right now, is comparing the 5e archetype builds to the monsters and making sure if we do go down that rabbit hole that everything is cohesive from the first book that we release. We don't want this to like an afterthought after going like, oh, is that what you guys want phase 2? Well, we didn't think about that.
Well, that's fascinating. Well, this looks really great. Thanks a lot for walking me through that.
My pleasure, Mike.